Which AI deep research model is best for businesses to use? To find out, I'm going to test the AI deep research tools for OpenAI, Gemini, the new GROK 3 deep research, Perplexity's deep research, and I'm going to use their version, DeepSeek, and if you didn't know, Microsoft Copilot actually has Think Deeper, which I'm assuming is based on OpenAI's deep research, and just wanted to test that out. Now, this is definitely going to be more subjective because unlike STEM, so science, math, coding, there isn't really a definitive answer, and it's more based on the business use. I also wanted to test these models' ability to do financial analysis through their deep research capabilities, but only OpenAI allows you to upload documents, and I didn't really want to do any copy and pasting of Excel docs and Google Docs and Google Sheets. To do the test, I came up with two scenarios. The first scenario, I asked O3 Mini High to give me a business scenario to stress the research capability and analysis and creating a strategy based on that research. The second test is based on a client request for prospecting. For the hypothetical one, it's to do a market opportunity analysis and then create a strategy from that analysis. For the client scenario, it's to do prospect research and then how to reach them. So here's the scenario for the hypothetical one. It's imagine you're a strategic consultant at a mid-sized consulting firm. Your firm wants to launch an innovative product called the AI Strategy Advisor. This platform will combine deep research, autonomously gather and synthesize data from academic studies, industry reports, real-time market analysis, and then analyze trends, weigh strategic options, and provide actionable recommendations. And then to evaluate it, we're going to base it on credibility and source verification, depth of analysis, logical reasoning, and actionability. And I'm going to give each of these criteria a score out of 5 for each of the models. Now, for the client scenario, the prompt is imagine you're consulting for a mid-sized renewable energy solution provider looking to expand its client base across Texas. Obviously, our client was more focused in Alberta. Your goal is to use deep research techniques to compile a comprehensive list of potential prospects in the state. And then the evaluation criteria is depth, accuracy, clarity, practicality, innovation, and reference quality. So let's get started. If any of these models time out, which sometimes they do, I'm just going to restart it and let's find out the answers. So one thing to immediately notice is that OpenAI's deep research asks you follow-up questions, and so does Gemini. The other models, GROK 3 is already doing it. Perplexity is already doing it. Deep research has stopped. I think this one has already completed it. Same thing with Copilot. So I'm just going to answer OpenAI's deep research and we'll keep going. And for some odd reason, DeepSeek will not do the first one. I'm not sure why. And I've tried it multiple times. Now for Gemini, it does ask you to confirm the plan it laid out before starting the research. So I'm confirming that plan. With this one, it actually just started. Now for that second scenario, I made a mistake and I was actually in Gemini 2.0, I think Flash Thinking Experimental. So I switched it to deep research, and just like the other one, it actually asked me the plan, which I'm going to accept, and I'm going to have it start its research. So they're all done. I'm going to go through my initial impressions first. Also, I did a verification check for all their sources, and you can see the prompt I use above. And so I had each model verify and check the accuracy of its own sources. And we'll go through that too. Now, if you want to go right to the scorecard, because I've scored every single model based on the scenario, you can check out the timestamp for the market opportunity analysis here. And then for the prospecting, you can check it out here. Okay, so let's start with the market opportunity analysis for all models. Of all the models, OpenAI has this feature where it asks clarification questions. It's the only model that does that. I really like it because you can really hone in on the research that you're doing. In this case, it did, And then you can see how many sources it took. It took 6 minutes on 25 sources. I think it's pretty comprehensive in terms of what it provided. I'm going to have to read it a little bit more carefully and then provide the scores. Now let's look at Gemini. So what Gemini does, and one thing to note that Gemini, this is 1.5, so it doesn't include reasoning. So we have to grade it on a little bit of a different level because it doesn't have that reasoning capability. But what I do like is the ability for it to automatically open in docs, where some of the other models you'll either have to copy and paste, or with OpenAI, instead of using O3 Mini High, you'd probably start your deep research in 4.0, which can export Word, CSVs, and so on. But I do like the ability for Gemini here, and its ability to ask before it starts the research, it actually shows you its plan and what it's supposed to do before you start, and then you can edit the plan. That's a pretty neat feature too. So here, let's take a look. This featured 96 websites. That's definitely more than the 25 for OpenAI. Let's look at GROK. This is a lot, 120 web pages. And that's why we did the verification, because you just don't know about all these sources. I like how it has a key points at the beginning here, then goes into, I like the links that it shows you its sources. It's not too bad. Let's take a look at Perplexity. I don't see it as comprehensive as GROK or Gemini or OpenAI. It's pretty quick there. DeepSeek, this was tough. I tried to put the prompt over and over and over again, and it's the same thing. And then finally, Microsoft Copilot with Think Deeper. And then here's the market opportunity analysis. Seems a little short, but I have to read more into it. Roadmap for recommendations, roadmap and recommendations, not too bad. And there it is. So now let's go look at the prospecting scenario. Start with OpenAI. This is 13 sources. This took, again, love the questions. This took 4 minutes with 13 sources. What I'm really looking for here is how many prospects did it actually pull as well. Now here's the prospects. Nice. Manufacturing prospects. So it has industry, indicators, readiness, alignment. Ooh, I like that. Construction prospects, technology and corporate campus prospects. This is a pretty thorough report. And then again, I did the factual accuracy, checked it for its own sources as well. Let's check Gemini. Again, love the open in docs, ability to edit the plan. Love the export to sheets too. Now, what I think it's missing here is the prospects. I don't see any prospects. Again, this is the weakness of deep research for Gemini. It doesn't have any reasoning connected to it, and I think that's where it fails a little bit. Here's some prospect profiling. Here's examples, but it never actually gave me more prospects. And then innovative research techniques. How about GROK? Again, 290 web pages. That's a lot. Love the key points, segmentation, not as comprehensive as OpenAI, prospect profiling. It gave me a little bit, but not as many prospects. So it didn't really get what I was trying to look for. And it's not as in-depth as OpenAI. Let's try Perplexity. It's gotten some prospects, which is good. Not as much. A little bit more condensed. Still not too bad. DeepSeek actually did it. But it didn't give me any prospects, so that's interesting. And then finally, Microsoft Copilot. Give me some economic hubs, industry associations. Again, didn't give me any prospects too. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the scoring then. Okay, so let's start with the market opportunity analysis. So out of 5, I ranked it out of 5. Credibility and source verification, I ranked OpenAI as the highest. It did a really good job in terms when I was looking at it, its sources and verification. I love Perplexity's unverified sources. Pretty good, but not as comprehensive as OpenAI's. GROK was okay, but not that great. Nothing for DeepSeek. Gemini, and then Copilot wasn't actually too bad. Depth of analysis, I think what I saw, OpenAI is the best. Perplexity was okay. Same with GROK. Nothing for DeepSeek. Gemini, I have to give it credit here because with no reasoning, it still did a pretty decent job. Copilot was just terrible. Logical reasoning, to actually show how it got to the answers, OpenAI did a really good job with that. Not too bad with Perplexity. GROK was on point too. Just not as good as OpenAI. Nothing for DeepSeek. Gemini, obviously no reasoning. And then Copilot was just not good. I really don't understand if they're using the exact same deep research technology, why isn't it any better in Copilot? And then finally, actionability. Great action plan. Same with GROK. Just a hair below. Not too bad with the Perplexity. Gemini, not so great. Copilot, it was okay. Then totals here for the market opportunity analysis had OpenAI as the highest, followed by GROK, which is, pretty good. Perplexity, and then Gemini and Copilot. But again, Gemini, no reasoning. It's graded on a curve. Now let's take a look at the renewable energy prospecting. So depth of knowledge, OpenAI had a really good depth of knowledge here, followed by GROK and Gemini. Perplexity had a pretty decent one too. It was okay. Copilot, not too bad. And this is surprising with Gemini how deep the research is. Credibility and verification. I think this one, Perplexity, had the best verification. It was pretty comprehensive. GROK and OpenAI had really good source verifications too. Not too bad for DeepSeek, Gemini, and Copilot was okay. Clarity, I think OpenAI did really well, but I think GROK did the best out of all of them here. Really laid out how to get the prospects, but didn't actually give me as many prospects. Perplexity, not too bad. I may have given it a little bit lower, 3.5, but it just didn't give me enough prospects. DeepSeek was actually pretty decent. All of them did okay. Copilot's still the worst. Practicality, in terms of how can you actually those actionable items for that renewable company. I think deep research did good. Perplexity, not so great. GROK was pretty good. DeepSeek, no, not good. Copilot was the worst out of all of them. And then Gemini is 3.5. And then in terms of innovation, as you saw some of them, OpenAI did really good in terms of non-traditional research methods. Not so good for Perplexity. Okay for GROK, DeepSeek, Gemini, and Copilot. So total here, I thought that OpenAI did the best, followed by GROK, Perplexity, DeepSeek. Actually, Gemini was in third place, which says a lot because it has no reasoning. So it's pretty decent. And then Copilot third, the last. So some general conclusions. One, OpenAI had the best deep research model in terms of showing the research, providing the report, and checking its verification sources. And I think it's even better where you can choose which models you want to output. So if you want a Word doc or CSV, you can run it through 4.0. Or if you want more reasoning on top of the reasoning, deep research, then O3 Mini High or O1 Pro. I like O3 Mini High because you can upload documents too. None of the other ones could at the moment. So I found that GROK is a really good model, especially at the price because it's free now. But I think with Premium Plus, it's only $40 compared to $200, and it's only going to get better too. So which would I use for business? I think OpenAI definitely, and then GROK for sure. I think for any business, $200 a month for a couple of those licenses at the pro tier, that should be table stakes. For pure web search, I really like Google and Perplexity for obvious reasons, not for the number of sources which Google has, but Perplexity and Google just kind of have that search part figured out a little bit better. Now, if you want pure volume of sources, GROK definitely, but you have to check their sources. One thing I wouldn't use is Microsoft for any of this stuff. I have no clue why. It just is more terrible than OpenAI's deep research if they're using the same technology. And the last thing I note, whatever deep research tool you decide to use, you've got to verify their sources and accuracy. I really like Perplexity's version of verified, unverified, and ambiguous sources, how it breaks that down. But make sure you check the sources and do your due diligence. So like I said at the beginning, this is very subjective based on the business use cases, especially for scenario 2 for me, which I know it's based on client work and just the way that that process from OpenAI's deep research went out. It was really good for me. I think better than obviously all the models, but if I didn't have OpenAI, I'd probably definitely use GROK. So tell me what you think. Have you used deep research for any business uses, and which model did you find performed the best for you?